Thank you for checking out this little teaser of the history of the papacy and church. Here's a little taste of what's coming up soon on the History of the Papacy podcast. Now, if you like what you hear, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. If you want to support the podcast even more, consider becoming a Patreon on patreon.com/history of the papacy. There are many levels and benefits for you, and you help keep the history of the papacy going. You can learn more about all of this at historyofthepapacypodcast.com. With that, here's another piece of the mosaic of the popes of Rome and Christian church, and I will definitely be talking to you more soon.
The mystique of the Hyksos and their imagery is all around ancient Egypt. It's not something obscure with the coat of many colors. I think this is, it just fits too well to be an accident.
It kind of reminds me, though, I've seen pictures of leaders from the 19th century, the 18th and the 19th century. They had pictures of them painted as Romans in togas or in Roman armor or that sort of thing. And I could see somebody maybe 500 years from now getting confused. Well, this picture was painted, we're pretty sure it was painted in the 19th century, but why are they dressed like somebody from 1500 years earlier? Okay. And you could write up a whole story about that if you didn't really know.
Right. So the brothers hate him. Then there's the only lame scene, in my opinion, is the Kung Fu Joseph scene where he beats the wolves.
Yeah.
That's not the sense that I get from Joseph. I think he's delicate and gentle. Don't think he's a kung fu master.
Now, maybe we could talk about now is just what are your ideas on how this was written, who wrote it, the story, and when it was written? Because I think that will help us place everything into, and then we can kind of build around that.
Okay, so I went over it on my podcast, a podcast of biblical proportion. I have a theory. You can call it a hypothesis. The story of Joseph was written in the mid-500s BC. And the historical context was a calamitous disaster that forced tens or even hundreds of thousands of people from the Levant to immigrate to Egypt. This is a real historical event. It was when the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar conquered the entire Middle East.